Hi guys, and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today we're going to be taking a look at ANKR, and we're going to start things off with this weekly chart, guys. This is an emotional project for us, at least according to the Reef community. But this is a project that we do seriously believe in. It has such potential, has done incredibly well for us, specifically when we exited Reef and went into ANKR, and when we saw everything lining up quite nicely. Now, for ANKR on this weekly chart, we can of course see these impulse waves to the upside. Everything there is still intact, nothing to really worry about. We are talking about pushing up to, I think it was about 77 cent, with the theoretical dollar not too far away. This actually represents 665% from the current position. So everything is doing really well. Sideways trading right now is correcting things nicely. We are, of course, overbought here on this weekly chart. And again, this is in line with where we were previously, right? We take a look at where we were during the crash of March 2020, how quickly we were overbought, and we were overbought for a serious portion of time before we get into the kind of correction waves of C, of wave 2 here, and wave 4, and these were oversold and oversold. Of course, wave 3 here was overbought. So as we go into wave 5, going up into this overbought area is something that we were expecting, in line with our previous waves, okay? So again, we can be up here for quite some time. It doesn't alarm me that we are here already, and we obviously will be expecting slight sideways trades and pullbacks and etc as we push further up. We can see that this is something that we saw when we exited wave 2 before really kickstarting wave 3. So a little bit slower to start, but when it gets going, it gets going. It's fantastic to see. And what we can do is we can obviously see where we were during the low of March of 2020 through to the peak of our third wave here in March of 2021. In 1 year, ANKR gained 34,000%, guys. A very significant push, and it hasn't finished yet with another 665% on the current position. Things on ANKR are definitely looking like they're gearing up, so we're going to get into some of the smaller time frames and talk about what is going on there. So nothing else to really say too much about this weekly chart. There was an accumulation zone that we've spoken about a few times. We found good support. Let's jump down into our daily and see what's going on there. We'll try to keep this video nice and brief, because we obviously do a number of videos, guys, a day, and we want to just keep everyone up to date with various different projects. So we can see here on this daily chart is we are heading down to the oversold area. We've been actually bouncing around down here on this stochastic on this daily for quite some time as we've been trading sideways. We've actually had a slight increase, right, over time here, over the last few days. It doesn't feel like you're doing anything major, but there is an upward trend just forming here ever since we kind of broke past the 236 of this Fibonacci, right? We broke this area, and then we started to see a really steady small incline on the price here, but we've also been correcting during this journey, and we're right down here right again. So we are looking to take that next step, try to get past this resistance, which is the 382, which actually comes in at 11.2 cent. Getting above that area is going to be key for us. We can see that this is a major area of resistance, so once we're past this, we'll be heading up pretty comfortably towards the next level. And we take a look at the resistance points, and that'll be basically 12.3 cent. I'm going to quickly just mark that up, because what we can do is we can see over here that there was a candle wick where it was resting this as support. It was support, it was support, and then it was broken and it became resistance. So we know that this area is going to be absolutely key, 12.3 cent. So basically, once we get past the area that we're currently stuck on, the resistance of 11.2, we should be going to 12.3 as your next resistant area. Okay, and obviously we have to talk about the 618, the 702, and the 786, right? These are the key areas for us where we were looking to get that closed candle above, preferably weekly, and that's the big bull signal that takes on price discovery. Okay, now we have the Fibonacci retracement on this daily chart. We can obviously shoot up here, see 77 cent is where we peak out. The first target that we're talking about is 32 cent, followed by 49 cent, 66.5 cent, and then 77. But it's not too far to overextend and go for that dollar. Once things start FOMOing in, guys, we could potentially see that overextension and go after that dollar level there. And if we do, then that's a little bit more of an additional push, a little bit higher than our 4.236. But I like to obviously keep things within the technicals, and we are, of course, just referencing 77 cent for now. So everything on this daily chart is looking pretty good. What about the hourly? When we jump down here, how does the sideways trade look? Well, we look like we are actually pulling back right now. There's actually a downward trend on the hourly, right? Upward trend on the daily, but the hourly is definitely on a decline. So what we can do is we can basically take these high points and we can just draw those together, draw our trend line, and we can see that there's a nice steady trend here over the last few hours of a downwards direction. Now, but obviously, we have to acknowledge there's also an upward trend, right? Nothing moves in straight lines, so we can obviously draw our trend line to the upside as well as the downside, and these two things are going to intersect, and we're going to get this triangular wedge that we're kind of forming in right now. Okay, so let me just grab my brush here. And the triangular wedge could be the catalyst that really takes things to that next level. Now, obviously talking about being oversold on the daily and the fact that we can be overbought on the weekly for quite some time, we're looking for a pullback right now on this hourly stochastic before we push to the upside. So right now we could basically get ourselves wedged in here until we absolutely have an explosion to the upside, or potentially the explosion to the downside. But of course, being oversold on the daily, it's very, very less likely that we're going to go down too far because there isn't too much further to actually fall. So the probability is actually a push to the upside overall. So I think when we take a look, there's 1 touch point, 2 and 3 touch points to your bottom trend line, and only 2 to your top. So therefore your downward trend is actually weaker than your upward trend, but trend lines overall are actually really weak anyway. So we want to rely more on our good support lines and resistance lines in conjunction with our trend lines. And overall, we can see there are several key areas for us. I'm going to just draw another support line on here, as I can quickly see one just forming inside this area right about here. Okay, so again, what we look for is we can see that this was an area of support. We can find that it was an area of consolidation, and again, a support line tested, a support line tested, a support line tested and broken, resistance broken, turn to support. Okay, so this area here at 10 cent is a key area, and again, this then actually forms that triangular wedge and gets it even tighter, ready for that explosion to the upside. So Anchor's lining up quite nicely on all of these different levels, right? The weekly is looking nice, it's progressing as expected and as per wave 3, and again, the daily is oversold, trading sideways down there in that low area of the stochastic RSI, and again, trending up nicely over time gradually. On this hourly, we see triangular wedges forming with a downward trend and an upward trend converging together, coming towards the 1st of September being a key time for us. We can see that we do need a small time correction before we do push to the upside. We can throw the volumes on as well, and we can see that there was a spike in volume bringing to the upside, and then the volume decreased quite dramatically as we started to see this correction come in. And again, if we just finish this off, get that push to the upside, we should be going and targeting after, if I just bring it back, I think it was 12.3 cent. This is going to be a nice key area for us, and that's going to be the next target that we have set out here for Anchor. So hopefully, guys, you have found this brief update for Anchor useful and informative. If you have, then do go ahead and hit the like button. I really appreciate that. If you are new, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. And with that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.